Global markets are bracing for fresh volatility as U.S. trade policies send shockwaves far beyond its borders. While central banks hold steady and tech earnings lift investor mood, tariff threats are exposing fault lines in global supply chains and diplomacy. My name is Eniola Lunge, and here's today's Zoom Out for July 30, where I help you see the bigger picture. A wave of U.S. tariffs on African imports is set to begin on August 1, and the consequences are already hitting home. Lesotho has declared a state of emergency after a 50% tariff announcement shut down at least one major garment factory, jeopardizing hundreds of jobs, according to Reuters. Meanwhile, South Africa, facing a 30% tariff, is locked in tense negotiations with Washington. According to Reuters, talks are stalling over U.S. objections to South Africa's domestic affirmation action laws, which the Trump administration claims distort trade. The textile and manufacturing sectors in Southern Africa could face devastating losses. The tariffs threaten to undermine the benefits provided by the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which has facilitated duty-free trade between the U.S. and eligible African nations, including Lesotho. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? This isn't just about tariffs. It's about how U.S. domestic politics and values are increasingly shaping global trade expectations. Africa's vulnerability shows what happens when trade diversification lags. The Federal Reserve kept interest rates unchanged this week, resisting vocal pressure from President Trump to cut rates. Two dissenting Fed governors reportedly argued for a rate cut, citing slowing domestic manufacturing and external trade shocks. Trump has blamed the Fed for undermining growth and called the decision a betrayal of American workers. Markets initially wavered but stabilized after Fed Chair Powell reiterated that future decisions will be data-driven, not politically influenced. The Fed's independence is now under renewed scrutiny, just as inflation appears to be moderated. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? When central banks become political footballs, global investors get nervous and monetary policy loses credibility. Meta and Microsoft both posted strong quarterly results. Meta's revenue rose 21% year over year, driven by robust ad sales and aggressive AI product development, according to CNBC. Microsoft reported that Azure cloud revenue grew 18%, pushing total annual revenue past $75 billion. Both stocks rallied in after-hours trading, with tech-heavy Nasdaq gaining 1.6%. Investors see the results as a vote of confidence in the ongoing digital transformation, especially in enterprise AI and cloud infrastructure. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? Even as global trade battles rage, AI remains a stabilizing force in equity markets. For now, tech earnings are helping to cushion broader economic uncertainty. President Trump announced a 50% tariff on most Brazilian imports, accusing the Brazilian government of a witch hunt against former President Jair Bolsonaro. The tariffs exclude aircraft, orange juice, and energy products. Analysts say the move appears to be more politically than economically motivated, targeting Brazil's judiciary and its investigation into Bolsonaro's 2022 election conduct. Brazilian markets dipped slightly on the news, while agricultural exporters scrambled to assess the fallout. The tariff will hit sectors like steel, processed foods, and auto parts. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? Tariffs are now being used not just as economic tools, but as geopolitical weapons. That makes the global trade environment more unpredictable, especially for middle power economies. After US-China trade talks ended without resolution, China's Politburo vowed to step in with support measures for exporters hit by the latest round of US tariffs. While support measures were pledged, a formal large-scale stimulus package was not announced. The Politburo focused on utilizing existing policies and addressing structural economic issues. Chinese equities rose modestly on the news, but analysts remain cautious. Exporters in electronics, solar tech, and consumer goods are expected to be hardest hit. So what's your Zoom Out takeaway? As Washington leans into economic pressure, Beijing is turning inward. offering lifelines to industries instead of compromising in negotiations. The tariff war is turning into a long-haul economic cold war. So the bottom line is this: from Lesotho to Brazil, the US is flexing its trade muscle in new and often unpredictable ways. But even as politics stir instability, AI-forward tech earnings are quietly anchoring market confidence. The question is, how long can the private sector stay strong if geopolitics keeps punching below the belt? When the world zooms in on the noise, I zoom out so you can see the bigger picture. Which of the stories have you been following? Drop your take in the comments and subscribe to my channel.